Welcome back to POV
with Hailey and Brie.
Hailey and Brie. And Ashley Laing.
Whoa!
He's our special guest, which is somebody's sister.
I bet you
Brie?
can't guess who.
Yeah. This is my sister.
Is that your sister?
Don't we look alike?
You guys have the same dad and mom, right?
Okay.
Move on.
Whose sister is this?
She's mine. She's my sister, as you can tell. We look a lot alike.
Oh, jeez. We're very lucky to have Ashley on here. Ashley is 20, so she just made the cutoff to be able to talk about her 20s.
Woo!
Somebody was asking to be on the podcast the other day, and
They were not 20.
they were not 20, so I told her to say
They were quickly dismissed.
yeah, like you gotta wait 2 years, my guy. Let's start off with our checkout. Check out.
We're checking in.
Okay. Check in. On a scale of uno to 10, how are you doing?
I'm first?
Yeah.
I would say your past episodes have been like, everybody has said 8. I'm definitely going to be lower. I'm going to be the first low one. I'm going to have to say like a 6.3.
Oh, very specific.
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll dive in. Hailey?
I'm probably at, I'd say like an 8.5.
Oh.
I had Cafe Rio today, got off work early.
You got your hair done
took
the
a
other
nap, got my hair done, the homework's done, life is just coming together. It's gonna slowly start going downhill,
Okay.
but I'm just living in the moment for right now.
That's good for you.
What about you?
I'm like a 6 too. I
Look at us.
dropped a few numbers.
yeah.
So Hailey, you really got to carry this episode.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, have low expectations. Just kidding.
That's fantastic.
It's gonna be great.
Hailey, do you have a question of the week?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Do you? Yeah, I've got a question of the week.
I actually do have a question of the week. But do you?
No.
We were looking at our outline and we're like, none of us came up with a question of the week, so let's see who can come up with one as fast as we can. But real question of the week. If you could choose between only eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the rest of your life or a ham and cheese sandwich for the rest of your life, you can have all the condiments and stuff. What would it be?
Probably a peanut butter and jelly. I don't like ham and cheese. I don't know. Even with condiments, it's just weird. I've also just grown up on peanut butter and jelly every day.
Yeah,
I literally ate it every day, actually.
every day from like kindergarten to 12th grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still eat them.
My
still.
mom would make them, so I'd just grab them.
She would just leave it on the counter,
Yeah.
and I'd be like,
Yes,
"Yep,
Mom. Don't have to pay for lunch.
snatch it."
I would pick ham and cheese. I don't like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
Interesting.
at all. I think I've said it before, but I don't think I've had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich since I was in like the 3rd grade.
So what'd you do with all the sandwiches that Mom used to make you?
I threw them in the trash.
Does she know that?
Yeah, I got in trouble one time
She's gonna
because a
be-
teacher caught me throwing my lunch in the trash so I could go buy lunch.
Where'd you get the money for lunch?
I was just baiting it. I was like, oh, my mom, she didn't give me any money. And they're like, well, tell your mom. And then I probably racked up at least $1,000.
Do you hear that?
I'm just kidding. I didn't rack up $1,000.
Now
Mom knows about this. It's been a while, but
Oh my
Mom
goodness.
knew about it. I know. No, it wasn't my best time. But after that incident, I was no longer allowed to buy food at school ever again.
Like you were banned by
Yeah, my
school?
mom never put any money in my account anymore, so, and I wasn't going to do it, so.
Wow.
So then did you
It was
have to
my first and last time. After that, I think they made me pack my own lunches, obviously, because that looking back at it, that's bad. That's a waste of food. But in the moment, I was like, I ain't eating this. This is nasty.
Do you guys watch Modern Family? Have you ever watched Modern Family?
I've only watched like
There's
maybe
a
one
scene
episode.
where like the kid like bamboozles his parents and like his mom makes him a sandwich and his dad gives him lunch money for school, and so he'll eat the lunch and then keep the money and just like he like racks up like $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
Jeez.
kid is genius.
I wish I did that.
Yeah. Anyways, fun question of the week. Today's episode is all about faith because we have talked about that basically in every episode.
Yeah.
It's a big part of who Hailey and I are. I think we wanted to talk about it more in depth and more focused. So we thought, who better to bring into our episode than Ashley? Ashley serves in junior high ministry.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of in like student ministry, which is really fun, and we all relate on that time. We all get together for like our like leader meetings and stuff, so it's really fun. But before we like dive into deep talks, we want to know a little bit about Ashley. So, okay, should we start off with like a fun fact?
Yeah. Want to lighten the mood.
Yeah, lighten mood. Ashley, give us a fun fact about yourself.
Okay, I've been thinking about this. It took me forever. A fun fact about me, which is kind of like really easy to see, is like I have such a mad dog face. Like it's just like I have a natural like RPF. But it's really bad.
It's genetic.
It is genetic, if you can't tell. But like once you get to meet me, like you can see how like bubbly and like giggly I am, and people hate approaching me because of that reason.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But I swear I'm nice, and I swear like I'm okay inside. Like I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, you were 6 on the scale. So.
I was. It's just one of those weeks.
Yeah.
It's just one of them.
That's funny because I think when we were doing like our Q&A episode, I said that I was scared to approach him or something.
Yeah,
so
I don't know what it is.
Know.
It's just the Laing face. That's what I think.
Which is weird.
It's not a bad thing. It's great. Nobody wants to talk to you sometimes.
Sometimes
no,
but
they do, but they're scared to talk.
Yeah, it's nice to be mysterious.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. That's what that means.
Wow. Don't mess. Yeah, for sure.
Just kidding.
Well, fun fact.
Don't mess with Ashley.
Don't mess with me.
Okay, just don't. All right, let's dive in.
Terrified.
Put on your scuba gear, Ashley. Let's go for a dive.
Chair guy's cringing in the back. Okay. Ashley, we want to know a little bit about your faith background. You're 20 now, so you're just entering. Welcome. You know what? That's what I want to say. First of all, welcome to Crazy Town. It's a wild ride. It's been a long first year of your. When did you turn 20?
January 12th.
This January?
This January.
Oh, so it's been a long.
It'll get better.
It's only been like 5 months, yeah.
I feel like it's been.
It feels like a very long
We're
time.
gonna see if it's been a good 5 months or not, I guess. But I think the first thing we want to talk about is what do you think led, or let's start with like where you are now in your faith and like how you think like you've got to where you are now.
Okay.
Is that like clear? Like, is that too broad?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I would say like right now my faith, I think you always get tested, and it's kind of hard, especially through like your young adult life. I would say I'm pretty strong in it. Obviously, I think serving in junior high ministry really helps me with that, and I think it really just makes me more responsible with my faith, and it reminds me that like, okay, like you're having a bad week, like still trust God, like you've got this, and like doing it for those girls and like those kids just helps my faith. I've been brought up in the church since like first grade, so like that's all I've known is like Christianity and like faith. So I've definitely noticed it like get stronger throughout like the past year and a half. But yeah, I would say this year is probably like the strongest faith I've ever had.
What do you think? Like when you were younger, or when you were growing up, was there a point where, because like when you're raised in the church, it's like your parents' faith for a while until you like really take it on. Do you like, can you pinpoint like a moment like when that happened?
Like when
whether
it was my
recently?
faith?
Yeah, like a turning point.
Ooh. Honestly, it was way later on in my life.
Yeah.
I think junior high, I went to the junior high groups, and to be honest, I went for like the wrong reasons. I just went to go like have fun and like hang out with my friends, and like that's what every middle schooler does. No offense.
Which is fun. That's what gets in there, you know?
But then that helps you.
Yeah.
But I would honestly say my freshman year, like probably later freshman year,
Mm.
I definitely was like, okay, well, this is my faith. Like, it's no longer my mom and dad's. Like, they'll help me, but they're not going to be, like, pushing me to go to church. Like, it's
Sure.
going to be my choice, my time.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with, like, soccer, like, I had to choose, like, do I really want to go? And, like, I would always end up going. So, definitely, like, mid-freshman year to end of freshman year.
Yeah. Was there something that, like, happened during that time? Or, like, a person that, like, pushed you that? Or, like, what do you think was the, like,
It was
catalyst?
definitely Danae.
Okay.
Danae was my small group leader throughout high school. She's great.
She's the best.
She really is the best. But she just made it fun and, like, made me feel welcome. And just showed me that, like, life isn't always going to be perfect at times. And still having that faith, even if it's hard and, like, you don't want to, like, continue to, like, take steps towards that, like, getting better and just having better faith. It just, like, I don't know, I really looked up to her. She was such an idol, and I just totally, like, was like, I want to be her.
Mm-hmm.
So she definitely did help me a lot.
Does that, like, inspire you with, like, is that what inspired you to, like, do junior high?
Mm-hmm. It was her and then Pastor Adam, but I really didn't want to do it at first. Sorry, but I just didn't want to do it.
Why not?
I just thought, like, they're junior hires. I know how I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be there. I was just there to, like, hang out. I definitely see that, like, off and on, but it's crazy just, like, how much faith these kids can get, even if they're there for just friends.
Yeah.
And it's cool seeing, like, you're getting proved wrong. Like, you're here for, like, God, and you're not just here for your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember in my interview with Adam, it was, like, he was asking me why I want to serve, and I was like, to be honest, I was like, I don't really want to go into this, but I was like, I want to be like Danae. I want to help her like how she helped me and, like, a lot of the other girls that were in my group.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. I remember, like, having this conversation with you when you were like, I think I want to serve in junior high, but I don't know. Like, what do you think? And I was obviously, like, serving in high school at the time, and I was like, well, I mean, like, it's a lot. Like, I mean, just like it's a volunteer job, but just like any job, it's a lot of, like, time and commitment and determination, and, like, you're devoting, like, everything you have spiritually, mentally, physically, like, into these, like, relationships with these kids. And so, but I commend you for sticking with it, because it's not easy. There's definitely weeks when you're just like, man, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, is this even making a difference? And then there's other weeks where you're like, they said they liked me after, like, 3 years. This is great. So, yeah, it's so fun to watch you grow.
Thanks.
So.
Aww. Sister moment. Okay. I'm back to it. Okay, how do I force this? So, I think going through, like, your relationship with God, like, there's always, like, ups and downs, like you said. Was there, like, a moment that, like, has really tested you, like, in your faith and, like, or tested you or grown you closer to the Lord?
It's kind of a double whammy with one situation.
Okay.
Definitely more recent, and it was just when, like, Pastor Adam passed away. That was just probably one of the hardest things, because he really drew me to ministry and, like, showed me who God, like, was, and that he loves me no matter what. That really tested it. Like, I didn't want to go to church anymore. I just didn't want to, like, listen to worship music. I didn't want to, like, pray because I was so upset and angry, which is just grief. Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of the stages. But that really tested me. But I think with the help of, like, the community I have, and, like, my therapist, she's great. Shout out to you. You know she's gonna watch this.
Shout out to therapy.
It's great. But
yeah.
I think it just, I hear him in my head a lot, of him just telling me, like, get back up, like, it'll be okay, like, your faith is strong, keep it that way. So it was kind of double whammy right there, is, like, it totally tore me down, and, like, I totally not questioned it, but I was definitely upset, and I was like, I I don't even want to talk to you, don't want to do anything with you.
Yeah.
But then I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm so strong in my faith today.
Sure. Yeah. And I'll just give, like, because there are people who don't go to our church,
Yeah.
so I'll just do, like, a quick little, like, so Pastor Adam was the junior high pastor at our church, and he passed away almost a year ago. He was 23, very young, but just, wow, the amount of people that have come or have shared stories of how Adam has, like, influenced their relationship with God, like, not only Ashley, but the junior hires, the middle schoolers that he mentored and like cared for were, so he's greatly missed.
Yeah. But he's up there dancing.
He's up there
celebrating.
partying
Watching
with
Star
God.
Wars, playing soccer.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Probably looking down saying, Ashley, don't say that to these kids.
No, he's totally cheering you on. But it's, when stuff like that happens, it's like, guys, we had to cut due to technical difficulties. But we're back. Anyways, talking about Adam and how that had a really big impact on you. Was it just therapy that you think, like, really helped with processing that, and or were there people in your life speaking into, like, making sure you're not, because I feel like it's easy to, like, go one way or the other, like, with, like, being frustrated.
Therapy definitely was a big help.
Yeah.
I think I was always so, like, I don't want to do therapy because, like, that just, like, labels me as, like, oh, there's something wrong, or, like, that just shows that I need help. But I felt very, like, weak in that moment, so I, decided, it's best for me. Pastor Josh actually had me, like, we had this whole deal, and it was just it was great. It was, like, life-changing for me. Pastor John, too, I've talked to him a couple times, and, like, he was very wise with what he said, and he was just really spoke to me.
What was your deal with Pastor Josh?
What's a deal? It's a secret deal.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
Whoa.
No,
That's not a secret.
he
cool.
knew I was just going through, like,
Yeah.
a hard time, and he was just like, okay, like, go do therapy, and, like, I'll just, like, his part of the deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but
that's okay.
Juicy.
that really pushed me to go for it.
Yeah.
Pastor John, wise words. My mom, she's such an angel. I love her so much. She's just
She
so
is the best.
comforting. She literally would sleep with me in my bed
Aww.
because of how sad I was.
Trissy.
And I think having the church community and kind of seeing all of them, like, everybody kind of gather around and honor him, that really, like, was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that, just seeing the huge impact he made. But the main one, I would say, I don't really have a main one. It's just everybody. I'm not going to give one person the most credit.
No,
Yeah. It's wild to think that, like, something so, like, devastating could be so beautiful at the same time, if that makes sense. Like how you were saying, like, it hit a lot of people very hard because it came out of nowhere. No one was expecting it, and it's very frustrating, and you're just like, you just get into this upsetting, like, just emotion with God, and you're just like, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind? Like, and then it's just you trying to deal with the process of emotions and everything, but also, like, the beautiful side of it is, like, seeing the church community and the congregation come together in such a way was really remarkable, honestly. And it's, I don't know, I personally feel like the church has been, like, closer and stronger since then. So it is, like, it's wild. It's crazy how something, like, can be, like how you said, like, I don't know, not double-sided, but where there's, like, it could be good and bad. And
double whammy.
Yeah, double whammy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what, like, God does, is he takes, like, really terrible, awful, horrible things and turns them for good in our lives. So, for me, that was, like, a cool thing to see like, 'cause people tell you that all the time, but until you, like, go through something awful, you don't really, like, get the weight of, like, oh, yeah, God's taking this, like, terrible thing and this terrible sadness and heartbreak and turning it for, like, his good and our good. That was cool to see. Heavy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, heading into a different question, different kind of off of heaviness, trying to transitioning. What are there any questions that you've been, like, questioning or struggling with or wondering about when it comes to your relationship with God and how that looks like?
I think the main question is definitely something that probably every single Christian has, is like the why factor of everything. Of like, why would this happen? Like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
Why would you put somebody through that? And kind of like when you're upset, you tend to ask the why question a lot more.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think everybody just gets upset super easily now, and it's just like the first instinct is like, oh, I'm going to be upset. Like, why? That was a huge question with, I think, my whole life is like, why? Like, why didn't I make varsity soccer that year? Like, oh, why didn't I start? Or like, you know, starting off with like the dumb whys, but in reality they're not dumb because you feel a certain way about it.
Yeah.
But like then it goes into like the, why are you taking me here? Like, what is the path you have for me? And it's so frustrating to me not to know exactly what my path is. Like, I need to see it. Like, I trust God with my whole heart, but man, not being able to see like the exact path he has for me within like with the past or the next like 10 years, man, that's hard.
Yeah.
But it's literally just the why. Like, why with everything?
Yeah.
The good, the bad, like, oh, why do I deserve this? Or like, oh, why did I deserve that? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really just like a huge like trust thing, because it's just the constant like why, and I think you brought up a good point, like a lot of Christians feel that way. And I agree, and it's one of those things where you literally just have to trust the Lord, because it's not something you could be like, if you did something or if Brie did something, I'd be like, hey, why'd you do that? And you could give me like a direct answer. Whereas like, you're like, dude, why did you do that? And it's just like, okay, well, all right.
Wait and see.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very hard to do that, but yeah.
That's what's like so cool about God too, is like you'll ask the whys and you'll hear nothing. Like for me, like I'll hear nothing. Sorry, I'm uncomfortable.
No,
okay.
You'll hear nothing, and then years down the line, or like
it'll make
months
sense.
or days, you'll look back at that and you're like, oh, it just clicked. Oh my goodness,
You silly goose.
You silly goose. Yeah. But I think that's the coolest thing about God is just it seems like it's a terrible point in your life at that moment, but like he will make good out of it, and he promises good, and it's just that's such a free feeling, and it's such a nice feeling.
It's exciting too.
It
like
is.
Sometimes like, or like even like when bad stuff has been happening or has happened, whatever, it's like, oh, this sucks, but dang it, God, like you're gonna like take this, and I know in a year or maybe like 30 years, whatever, I'll look back and be like, oh, this caused this, which caused this, which is why I'm here now.
Yeah.
It's a huge like domino effect.
It doesn't make sense in the moment until it makes sense further down the line.
It's all about patience.
Wild.
And
It's like a
trust.
little domino
wish
effect.
he could give us like a laid out plan. That would be great.
Yeah, just like flash for like
like,
just everything, your whole life
go
flash before your
here.
eyes. Yeah, that'd be
Or
great.
even just like a next steps, you know, like a hey, just.
Oh my gosh! I'm
Are
so
you
honored.
excited
I've
to
been
be
waiting.
your first train stop?
I've been waiting
stop.
the whole like 25 minutes.
Wow. Here we go.
This.
Okay. This is actually not a question for Ashley, because Ashley asked this question.
I did indeed ask this question.
Ashley asked this question,
asked
and
15.
Haley's gonna be mad at me for choosing this question.
Probably.
But I think it's a hilarious question. Ashley, you asked us, Haley, I heard you have a monster voice.
Oh my gosh!
Can we hear it, please?
I'm not doing it.
Please.
No, I'm not doing it.
Okay, I'm gonna ruin
Yeah,
this.
can you imitate the voice?
Wait, no, I'm gonna ruin this really quick. That was gonna be my POV.
Oh!
No, I have backups, but I was talking with my mom and I was like, my POV should just be like, Hailey's monster voice is it, and she needs to do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it because I only let a select few people do
Wow.
it. I hear it.
That's so exciting.
Devastating.
I love
Is it that's what it's called, a monster voice?
I have lots of.
I call it something else, but it's definitely.
Sure, guy says do it.
We're just gonna stick with monster voice because what I call it is not.
What do you call it,
Oh.
Miss Girl?
What are you?
Side eye.
She's side-eyeing you?
Bombastic.
Oh. What the heck does that mean?
You're not
Oh.
on TikTok.
Miss Girl, please.
What are you calling Miss Girl?
You
doing
chair guy says
dying
that
smoker voice is
yeah,
what chair guy calls it.
dying smoker voice.
Basically.
I just
Yeah.
have many different like impressions, voices
It's our
that I
favorite one.
do.
I can't even like get it on point.
Try it. Go ahead. I'll rate it
it's
1 to
like-
10.
I call it the like.
I don't think
smoker
you've
baby
ever heard
voice.
of. I don't think you've heard my
Number
monster
one.
voice. Have
Yes,
you?
I have.
You have?
Chair guys heard it too,
Oh yeah, your guy has definitely heard it.
and I've been around it.
Oh,
I call it
I'm
like
so
smoker
sorry.
baby voice.
Smoker baby voice.
The number one thing she does it for is when sauces are not in the bag.
Like a child with elongous. Goodness.
Her guy's crazy. Anyhow, I don't know how to. I saved
We're gonna have
it.
to bleep
I
out.
saved myself. I said, Jesus.
And it'll be bleeped.
Okay.
This
bleep
whole
it. My
conversation
bad.
will be bleeped.
Sorry,
Actually,
chair guy.
we're gonna need Kevin to speak again.
We're gonna need a voice guy. We're gonna need the NDA to really come in.
I'm really sorry.
You signed an NDA.
You
I'm
did
sorry.
sign an NDA.
I'm really
You're already
sorry.
violating it.
Yeah,
Your
that
guys'
might.
is in
Yeah,
front
it
of
does
me.
come out when the sauces aren't in the bag. There's a couple other
What?
reasons why.
No, when
Sauces
sauces aren't
sauces
in the
not
bag.
being in the bag makes me very upset.
Makes monster voice come out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a
interesting.
couple other things, but
Yeah. There's a lot
Wild.
of other things.
Okay, now we have to get out of the train stop
Sorry.
because we got to get back to talking about Jesus.
We're getting
because
on the train.
We love some Jesus. Okay, you've kind of already talked about them. What is happening?
I was getting on the train.
You're getting on, now you have to get off the train.
Why?
Wait, we're not at the train
I just
stop.
got off the train stop. I'm going back on the train to get to the rest of the.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
come
I
on.
get it. I get it now. Cheers, Louise. Jeez, I can't. We kind of mentioned it briefly, but what would you say are your favorite parts of your relationship with Jesus? Jesus Christ.
That's what the monster voice sounds like.
Late.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Whenever I say that, I think Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't. That's like a play, but
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I know.
I heard that.
But anyhow, sorry.
off topic.
What was the question again? Sorry.
It's okay. I ruined it with the Jesus Christ Superstar. What's your favorite part about?
Your relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
We're tight.
You guys are
I
tight?
talk to him every day.
Every day?
Oh man.
I get on my phone. I'm like, hello.
Hello.
I used to think
Yeah.
that there was like an actual
Hello,
phone.
hello.
Like a Jesus phone.
Like a
Or
Jesus
like
phone?
a-
How cool would that be? Like, anyways.
But I really like how I think communicating with the Lord can be really hard in the beginning
Mhm.
because you're like, oh, I don't feel him. Like, are you supposed to feel him?
Yeah.
But everybody feels him in their own way,
Mhm.
whether that be like a literal like voice or like it's like you see something. And mine are signs of like I'll say something and then I'll be like, I won't ask for a sign, but he'll give me a sign and I'll like look to my right and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like I just
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he listens. Like he's the number one listener. Like I love that.
Mhm.
And like knowing that he takes everything off of me and like say something's heavy on my heart or heavy on my
Yeah.
shoulder. He already knows what's on it, but
Yeah.
like me expressing that just shows how strong my faith is and like the strength that he has given me to do that.
Yeah.
It's really it's just so cool.
Yeah.
It gives me chills talking about it. Like just to think of like how I was in like middle school to like now, I'm like, he would have never done that. Like he would never have the chills talking like this. But like
Yeah.
it's just crazy what faith can do. It's great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now getting into how this infiltrates the rest of our lives. You're in a relationship.
I am.
That's wild. That's so exciting. So, like, not only that, but, like, you have a job, you're a student, you are a sister and a daughter. So, like, how would you say that impacts those different areas of your life?
Faith is a big thing of mine, and if I'd never found a guy with a faith like mine, like, I probably would never be in a relationship. Luckily, I did get lucky. Super strange. Like, it's just, he's so passionate. He grew up in church, but then he stopped going. Just because he moved and he just couldn't find home church. And then just knowing that I have, like, helped his faith and he's found his church and found his community. And same with his brother. That's just so... I love it. I just love a man with faith. It's just so nice. Because I get to talk to him about it because he's clearly, like, one of my best friends. And I'll tell him everything and anything. And one of our first conversations was about faith. We had a 3-hour conversation, like, up at Mount Baldy. And we had talked about just, like, getting to know each other. That was our first date. Like, faith was a huge part of it.
Was your first date?
Yeah. I thought it was as friends. But he thought it was a date, so we're just gonna go with the date. Here we are now. But just the way he talks about the Lord is just, it's really inspiring and it helps me.
Yeah.
Friends-wise, questionable. I would love to, like, implement faith in every single one of my friends' lives, but sadly, like, I've tried and it just, like, won't be as strong as mine. I have some friends that are Christian. I have some friends that claim that they are Christian, but they don't practice it. And then I have atheist friends, which is only, like, a couple that I can think of. But I'm always super open and, like, hey, this is God. Hey, this is Jesus. Hey, I'm going to pray right now, so you're going to pray with me? And they'll uncomfortably sit there like, what's happening? Like, why are you talking to the air? And I'm like, no, like, literally talking to God.
That's cool because that's hard to do with friends, especially, like, who may not know, like, what Christianity is or, like, what praying is or whatever. So that's awesome that, like, you can do that too.
And you never know. Like, we're supposed to be obviously, like, kind and treat everybody with like respect and God's grace. And I mean, just like you, I obviously have friends that don't have a strong faith background, nor some of them don't even believe in God, and you probably have the same. I think it's everybody. I think it's important to have everybody from all walks in life as a friend or somebody that you know, but there is that huge, like, I feel like that point where it's, you can have friends that don't agree with you, but they obviously need to be respectful. Just like as we are respectful to everybody else. I think I can speak for Ashley because we were raised together. But we were raised where you respect everybody, no matter who they are, what their choices are, whatever. Like, they are not hurting you personally. But yeah, like, you never know. Like, we're just vessels in order to spread God's grace. And you never know what you could say, when you could say it, where you could say it, like, what that impact could be on somebody. Sorry.
No.
You go,
I
girl.
was just commending you,
No, that's good.
The whole, like, family thing, too. Obviously, like, grew up in a Christian household, went to church. That was thanks to my mom. Love you, Mom. It took a while for my dad. He was faithful, like, he is faithful, but, like, didn't go to church for a couple of years because our grandma passed away, and he just was, like, you know, grief, upset, and it's hard to get out of that grief and, like, that upset feeling if you don't talk to the Lord. I feel like if you just don't talk to him, like, it's just gonna stay there forever. But luckily, we all kind of like worked hard for him to come back to church, and it's been great. He's back every week. He is balling out.
He's a
preaching
regular
at dinner. He'd be praying at
He's
dinner.
a regular.
Aww.
He is a regular. So like seeing that's great. Like seeing how much we've influenced him and kind of just like drawn him closer.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is my brother.
We're coming
Whoa,
for you.
We're all coming for you.
We're coming for you.
And I will-
Watch out.
Yes, but yeah, I think family was definitely the hardest one because you know, you want your whole family to like believe in the Lord and kind of just like trust in Him. And I think for a little bit, my dad definitely lost that trust, which
everybody's
we
gonna
all go through
that.
it.
Yeah.
But I think that really made me sad, and like all of us kind of like praying at dinner and like forcing him to pray, and kind of not forcing him to pray because we're not gonna make him uncomfortable, but like forcing him to be in the prayer with us.
Yeah.
It's great, and I think that's just really helped our household too.
Yeah, because I feel like that grows you as sisters or as like mom and daughter like closer together because you're all praying for one thing.
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's awesome. We've loved getting to hear about your faith. I feel like we hang out but we don't really frequently get to like have like in focus depth conversation about like this is, or like even like look back and be like, yeah, this is where I was, this is where I am now. So it's cool to get to hear like a little bit of your background.
Well, you guys are definitely a big part of it too.
Aww.
My community, guys.
Aww.
We love you.
How nice. Side eye.
Oh, Chair Guy says that was the mini smoker voice.
Really?
You got a taste of it.
No, it's more like.
It's fine. One day I'll let it out. But
One day I'll record it and I will leak it all over.
leak it. You signed an NDA, Miss Girl. You ain't leaking nothing.
With certain things.
I'm taking everything she got, which is nothing.
Wow. Okay, one of our last questions is, Ashley, a year ago, you were not 20 years old. So what advice would you give your 19-year-old self going into being 20?
Trust. Just trust the process. Trust His plan. If you get pushed down, get straight back up. Be resilient. Resilience is a big thing to me.
Yeah.
I feel like before 19, I just wasn't resilient. And I think God has given me that gift. And just trust in Him and believe that it will be okay. And it'll all work out.
Love it. That's awesome. What an episode. We're really excited because I'm very excited to hear Ashley's POV.
We're hyping it up.
This is Hailey and I's POV 33. Not really. We need to fix these numbers.
We'll figure it out.
We went wild on the numbers.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Started at like 12. I don't know why. Ashley, do you have a POV ready? I think I wrote mine down, so I'm going to have to pull it up.
What is this POV number 1 for me?
This
Yeah,
is
number 1 for you.
Number 1 for Ashley.
My POV is California drivers are the worst drivers I will ever come across in my entire life.
Preach.
And if you are one of them, the door. It's literally right
Aren't
there.
you a California driver?
But if you're the one that sucks. What?
What specifically about California drivers suck?
Jeez, they just literally like act like there's no other cars on the road. I got a big car. We all know I have a big car. It's like they just don't even see me right there, and I'm like, I literally have a bigger car than you.
You have a Jeep?
Like, I do. I have a Jeep, and it's big, but it's like they just don't see me, and they'll just cut in front of me. They'll like swerve into my, and I'm like, bro, like I could just go like that right now, and your car's donezo.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody knows how to drive with crazy drivers in California, which makes California drivers superior.
Maybe makes me a crazy driver, but
I mean, same.
California drivers are still the worst drivers because you go to like anywhere else, they're still crazy, but they're not as bad as us. Like, why is there a reason to slam on your brakes?
Ashley's calling out Californians.
Dude. Sorry, guys.
It's a POV. Hailey, do you have a POV? I think we're 33.
I do have a POV. It kind of, I wasn't planning on using this POV, but since Ashley said it, it's like very similar to yours, except I think out-of-state drivers are the worst.
Oh.
I think
That's a dilemma.
people
They're
coming
gonna fight.
out of state. So that could be true for also California drivers, but like California drivers in a different place.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Valid.
nothing that irks me more when I see somebody with a New York plate, an Idaho plate, a Montana plate,
Yeah, Montana
Anybody-
drivers are kind of
Montana
crazy.
plates.
'Cause they don't-
Anybody in front of me with a different plate, slam on their brake for no reason.
That's all she does.
Oh my gosh, I have to say this funny story. I'll try to make it fast, but it's not an out-of-state driver. But anyway, on Lone Hill recently, it's been down to one lane because of construction work. So anyway, I was on my way to go, this was like a month ago, on my way to go to Cafe Rio, and they're like trying to merge lanes. I never let anybody in. I will be that girl to ride the back of somebody's car. You ain't coming in. You knew we were merging. There was signs back there. You had plenty of time to do it. You're not going to come in and do this. Anyway, so I'm driving, minding my business, bumper to bumper with this car. Probably not good for accident-wise, but I'm not letting that stop me. And all of a sudden, like this lane's coming to an end, so everyone's got to merge into mine, but they get into the back. You ain't coming from it to me. All of a sudden, this black Jeep comes barreling through and tries to cut me off. So of course, I get upset. You know me.
You got upset.
I got a little upset. And then imagine how much more I got upset when I realized it's this gal.
Didn't you?
Racing me to Cafe Rio to get our tacos. So do you know what I do? We were in the middle of an intersection. There was cars on the other side trying to, figure out their way. I blared on my horn for at least how long?
It was a solid 2 minutes.
It was not a solid 2 minutes. It was probably a good 30 seconds, but her windows were down, her music was blasting, everyone's staring at her.
My music is not blasting. I'm on the phone with you.
Oh yeah, she's like, please let me in, it's me. And I was like blaring my horn, I'm like, you
And
jerkhead.
all you hear is Hailey yelling and her horn just on my speaker on my car.
Anyway,
And that's why people are staring at me, is because we're in the middle of the intersection and she's just blaring on that thing.
anyway,
I'm
I
like,
let her in, but that was it. That was it. But yeah, she doesn't have out-of-state plates, but people with out-of-state plates do make terrible drivers.
that's interesting.
Yep, that's how I feel.
Everybody's a terrible
Sorry,
driver.
that was a tangent. But
I like Tim.
Brie, what's
That was
your
wild.
POV?
Okay, I went to Tennessee this
You
past
did.
week.
You did.
And there's a point where you can look out and you're supposed to be able to see 7 states. You can't tell what the heck the 7 states are. So here's my proposal,
Where's the start?
Mr. Biden. You should, okay, when you look on a map and you see the outlines of the states, I think in real life, on the land, we should get poles and stick them into the land with lights so that you can see the outline of each individual state from
That would only be
the
helpful
sky?
at nighttime.
No, because they would be black poles. So you'd be able to see. So if I was standing at the 7-point thing in Tennessee,
All right.
I'd be able to see this is Georgia, Alabama. Blah. Also, I thought Georgia and Alabama were the same state, so that was awkward.
Before you went to Tennessee, or when you were looking out trying to see the 7 states? Because if you're about to tell me right now you thought Georgia
I thought Georgia was in Alabama.
and Alabama,
Okay.
Sweet Home Alabama, not Sweet Home Georgia, Alabama.
Why can't Alabama be a city?
Because
Because
it's a
Alabama's a
state.
state.
But Georgia, Alabama, Georgia. Doesn't that sound like they would be this a city
No.
and a state?
No.
Okay, I get it. I was
No.
wrong.
Yeah.
I've realized my mistake, but I'm just saying it's not the craziest thing to think that one of them is we have an organ in Maine.
What? Okay.
Or no.
All right, we're going to have to deep dive into this another time because I'm currently losing brain cells as we speak about
Hailey's
this.
monster voice is about to come out.
Oh, we have a Portland in Maine.
We have an organ. Now we have a Portland.
I'm gonna cut this off.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Talk to you later.